We are three friends who love to write and need accountability. So we're live streaming our conversation about writing and actual carving out time for us to write. We invite you to join us in the conversation. Feel free to chat us up, answer questions, bring us questions, and then join us at the end for a 15, 20-minute writing session. So I'm Vanessa, and this is
Daphne.
And Daphne.
Daphne, no.
And I'm Kelly.
And we all write for different reasons and different ways for our career. I write more on the fly, in the moment type stuff. It's usually around my feelings or what I'm going through. I write motivationally. I write short stories, which I've never shared with the public, but I write them. I write for Momstown, an online magazine also, and I'm exploring writing my memoir and a couple of other books. So that's why we kind of started this, because we're each working on a cool project. Daphne, what are you working on?
So I am actually going to be in May starting a subscription service, writing paranormal romance. I'm a fiction writer. So I am starting my first paranormal romance. It's going to be a serial, like web novel. So it's going to be really long, ongoing. So that's what I'm going to be starting. Mm-hmm.
I see it as a TV show.
Yeah. Oh, one could only dream. But right now I've been doing a lot of research, paranormal type podcasts on ghost investigations and haunted stuff and all the paranormal things, supernatural things. And so I am having a blast doing the research on this. It's so fun. There's things I had no idea. So yeah. Now I go to bed every night and I'm kind of looking around the room like,
You're going to be a channeler by the end of this process. Yeah. So you're like, I channeled messages.
Yeah, I'm learning so much, but it's all, research for my book. So I'm super excited. Yeah, so it's great.
I want to know how ghosts kiss. Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, I know. There's so many different ways you can go about it, but I'm still learning. But yeah, I mean, they can possess someone. I mean, that would be cool.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Maybe you have ghosts like possessing a whole bunch of people, and I just had this vision of people walking around kissing strangers.
If the ghost is going to possess someone and try to kiss me, at least make them, like Hugh Jackman or something like that.
Bradley Cooper for me. Oh, awesome! That is so fun. Well, I can't wait to read. I love your series. I've read one book, and I loved it. I was like, okay, where's my next one? But sadly, I packed it in storage.
Well, what is the name of your book, Daphne? What's the name of the first series that you wrote? What's the first book in the first series?
The first book is The Amber Torch. So I'll send it to you, Kelly, after this. I can send you that.
No, I'm buying it.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Another.
Awesome. That's exciting. It's so cool that you've actually gone through the entire process, Daphne, of like, the idea and the creation, the motivation, and then actually written it like that. Like you can see that you brought something into reality, which is really cool.
No, you're right. It was definitely, the learning curve was crazy. So I think I'm actually going to probably enjoy the process of writing this next series more, because I already know so much about the process of creating a book that I think I'll just kind of have a little more fun with it. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, I can't wait. I'm sure a lot of us are on the fence that are like on the edge, like, come on. Yeah. Okay, Kelly, what are you up to?
Well, I've been working on a course creation for a client of mine. So that's been really fun and playful, which has been great. So it's given like a little more room for creative thinking, which is really fun. And just, normal work writing, I haven't really been doing any creative writing of my own. So I'm really looking forward to the 15-minute session here to make myself just do it. And then I'm just I have an idea of what I'm going to write about, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to take Daphne's way. Like, you know what? I'll just let whatever wants to come through and not maybe put so much structure around it.
Okay,
See what
perfect.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the best place to write from, right? When you're truly inspired and you're actually feeling it. It's like it lands different.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Awesome. So I know 2 weeks ago we were on our live stream and we were just talking, and one of the things that came up was how much fear pops up around our writing and like finding our voice and expressing ourselves. And so that's what we really wanted to explore today was the fear around writing. And Kelly, you had a lot of energy and passion for this. So I'm going to ask you to jump in and lead the conversation today, because this was something that really was important or energized for you.
Yeah, I don't know. The topic of fear is just exciting, right? Because anytime you explore anything you're afraid of, you learn so much about yourself and really about how other people engage too. And that's what the fun of writing is, really, is it's sort of an exploration of yourself and then understanding the world a little better. But yeah, I was thinking I had written down, it was funny because we had talked kind of via the chat, and then right before that I was listening to something and they're like, write down your 3 biggest fears, and I, without thinking about it, I just wrote the 3 things that came top of mind, and one of them was getting cancer. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting that's that's inside of me. So energy is going towards that, which I do not want, right? So I was like, I wonder if I could explore that, like from that fear's perspective, meaning like I give it a personality, I give it a, assign sensory details to it, make it like a human or whatever form it wants to show up in, and have a conversation, right? Like, what is the real fear there? What do I need to learn about myself? Why is it there? What's its purpose? Is it trying to teach me something or make me aware of something? So I thought that would be really fun to write about, whatever. Like, my thing was like, make a list, circle your top 3, because we all have fears, right? Like, I also have a fear of like public speaking. Like, that terrifies me. I mean, I do it, but I don't like it. It scares me. So like, whatever that fear is, or you could conversely do something that you're truly passionate about, right? Make a list of things that they just light you up anytime you think about them. And then, circle your top 3 and explore those more. What if they were like it was a tangible physical entity that you could converse with? So I think those types of writing prompts are really fun, and just, they're not about like, it's not about publishing or writing well. It's really just about like an exploration. And I find, like, Vanessa, I know you talked a lot about, you kind of let it come through you. And when I do prompts like that or have exercises like that, it's like the writing comes through. I don't have to work at it, right? Because it's not me. It's like it's like coming from somewhere else, right? So I think those types of things are really fun to do. And then it removes that restriction of like, you have to do it this way, or it has to be eloquent, or it has to be, you get stuck in your head about who's reading it and what they're going to get out of it. And that's not really where the best writing comes from. I don't think that hasn't been my experience. It's usually when I'm writing for myself that the best writing comes. And that's when you find those like connections.
Yeah.
So that was a long-winded answer, but that's like I
agree.
what the premise, how that came about, and I think that the more we give ourselves permission to go in those darker places, or the places that we kind of like hide from, or we ignore or deny, it's like, that's where true liberation comes, because what you recognize is you're not alone there. We're human. We have all the, we're a soul, but we're human in this world. And there's things that we come up against that are, dark. And what does that mean? Does it really mean anything?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Right.
And it's interesting to say that if Stephen King ignored his dark side, we would have none of his novels. Like,
right.
A really demented, dark, side, right? And you have to tap into those places when you're writing. Just like actors have to tap into the energy of whatever that character is that they're writing. They have to feel that darkness if they're writing it. But yeah, a lot of folks, we're always like scampering around our fear, and we don't want to dive in and ignore it. We know it's there. And then the more we ignore it, the bigger it gets. And then it acts like a limitation. Then we don't do anything because we're so terrified. So we don't write the novel. We don't write the book. We don't write, whatever. And so I love that you're so willing to dive into what that fear is. And I love the perspective of coming from that particular fear, because it does have a life of its own. And it usually, like in just basic psychology, when you do parts work, the part of you that's afraid actually has a message and a need. And it's going to piss you off until you pay attention.
Right.
You know, it's going to
Yeah,
cause
and
problems until you actually go like, hey, little one, what are you afraid of? And what's the problem?
Yeah. And you know
Yeah.
what, Vanessa, you brought up a really good point that I think this is really interesting, because when you talked about, Stephen King, his work wouldn't be out. Neither would like Toni Morrison's Beloved. I mean, that was a very dark, harrowing, recollection of what actually something that did happen, maybe not to that exact way, but did happen, right? So it also gives us a chance to kind of understand other people's experiences in a way that we can't really experience ourselves, and just like the things we carry. That was an excellent book about what it's like to be in war and all that stuff. So I think that it's also that part, but it's interesting too, because this always makes me go deeper in the fear part, because it makes me wonder, if we don't look at those parts, if we choose to continue to ignore them or hide them or we're afraid of them or whatever, what are we missing out on that's part of us that's not being expressed? Like, that's the part that I'm most interested in. It's not really the fear part. It's like, what could I be? What isn't given room to be expressed? And that part is the part that's exciting.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and you think about any great artist. Sorry, Daphne, I just saw you ready to chat. I was just saying really quickly, any great artist. So when I was in Madrid and I went to the Sofia Museum, I was looking at the Cubist. Who's the artist that started Cubism? Picasso, right?
Wait, was it Picasso? Yeah.
So I just stood there looking at this and going, what if Picasso was like, oh, I'm so afraid what people are going to think. Oh, I'm so afraid to put this. This is so different. This is not, doesn't look like Van Gogh's. I mean, I don't know if I'm messing up the timeline, but like, if any of these great artists let their fear of expressing themselves stop them, we would not have what we have. Mm-hmm. And so when we say, what are you missing out on, or what's not being explored because we're afraid? Well, a lot. And the world, like you go, what's the fear costing you at that point? And if you put yourself in that position, like, what if you were Van Gogh and you never expressed yourself? He would have cut off his ears and his nose. Like, I don't know. He would have done something horrible.
Yeah.
It's that fear of judgment, right? Of what most of us carry with us. And then you have those few that are brave. They're willing to face their fear and write, paint, whatever, express their fear and really get to know it, tell others about it. It is brave. And, but that's why people are so drawn to these types of things, because we all have that in us, right? So you like to read about people's fears and the dark stuff because it's there. Everyone has it. Mm-hmm. It's just only the few are willing to really just lay it all out, right?
Bare their soul, so to speak.
Yeah,
right?
No, yeah. Right. Yeah. And have everyone connect with them on that level. And then sometimes you have the people that are so scared of the dark side, even though it's there, they're so scared of it. And those are usually the people that are the haters, or the ones that are, would not like that type of work or those type of writings, because they're just so fearful of that. Mm-hmm. It's probably deep within themselves. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what Carol Elliott's work does. It's called Existential Kink. A lot of her work is on whatever that you're resisting. What are you afraid of? What are you not willing to look at? And actually exploring all of that stuff so that you can kind of move over that hump, so to speak. And it doesn't hold you back. It doesn't get in your way anymore. And then get out there and be weird. Get out there and write. I mean, talk about ghost kissing. Whatever that right now. I'm really crazy and weird. Chris is always telling me to start a YouTube channel because I'm doing stuff all the time that's completely off the wall that nobody else knows but him. Like, he knows me and he knows the dark side, meaning, and the goofy and the weird side. Not a lot of people know that. And so he's always like, put this out there. This is really funny. And I'm like,
no, because people will connect with that. And it's that when you were writing, you said you were writing on Facebook, and those times you were bearing your soul and you would finish writing and you felt literally sick and nauseous because you had put yourself out there. You were so vulnerable.
Yeah.
But those were the posts that like I connected the most with, that got my attention, that
Yes.
drew me in, that wanted to know more, that connected with you right away.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's you see that online with, or you know, like you guys said, with all the books out there. There's how many books out there are about murder and about all these weird, super dark things. You're like, why? Well, because it exists in the human psyche. And then you get up and you go feed your kids breakfast and pancakes and you go lay on. I mean, you know, whatever.
And, you know, don't you think, like, this is probably not going to land well, but, you know, we live in a culture of censorship, right? We can't say certain things. We can't, you know, it could be offend somebody. It could be, you know, whatever. I say offend somebody, you know, like if it's true for you, it's true for you. There's nothing, you know, that's, right. You're going to learn one way or another if that truth is going to stick or not, right? Because if it's truth, it sticks. If it isn't, it isn't. But that's the interesting thing about the self-censorship, you know, and if you're not looking at those things, I personally think, you know, as within, so without. Everything that you experience out here is just a reflection of what's happening in here. So whatever that is, it's like, that's an important piece because you're creating that in a way. You're creating that external, you know, experience. So couldn't you also not, you know, befriend it and then overcome it? I mean, you have that power too. So if you're saying the so within, so without, then it has to go both ways. It can't be one way. So I think that part is important too, to recognize that.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that that's awesome. Yeah, that's probably, I would think, the biggest barrier for a lot of creative people to get over.
Me too.
You know?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So being able to set that aside and just let it all come out. I mean, no matter how strange, dark, I mean, who twisted, you know, all these negative words for something that's so not bad, you know, that shouldn't be viewed as negative, right? But we attach these negative terms to these things, you know, kink, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, oh, we have to make that different. You know, that person's different. No, that person's probably not as different as you think. You know,
well, we come from that puritanical mindset, right? That says who you are at home is different than the person you show publicly. You're polite and you're this and you're that, you know, in public.
Right. And for that judgment thing.
And then at home, it's where you talk about money and sex and all the weird stuff and the crazy uncle and somebody was drunk and somebody got, you know, like all the weird stuff. And so social media, I feel like, gave us an opportunity to kind of air out our dirty laundry.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's fine. But now we can use it responsibly and we can have fun with it and use it also for a force of good. But it does allow a window into the darkness of humanity. And I think that's what everybody's shocked about now. It's kind of like, oh my God, you know, I thought you were a good Christian.
We're seeing.
You're like, well,
we're seeing who we are. Yeah.
But you realize everyone has it. It's kind of like, I remember thinking way back, you know, family dysfunction, right? Like the dysfunction within family. Well, my family's so weird, or, you know, but no, pretty much dysfunctions in every single family to different levels, but it's all there. We're people, right? So you're taking people that may not get along or could very well get along or whatever, and you're putting them together. Society's saying, this is the person that you're going to hang out with, or, you know, whatever. So, and with that comes dysfunction. So, but yeah, it's just like you said, social media has enabled us to air our dirty laundry, but everyone has it, you know, so it's more of a connect. It's saying, oh my gosh, this person, I thought she was perfect. I thought her life was perfect. It's not, you know, whereas we should know better, right? But we don't.
Exactly. Well, and that way we start to say, okay, we are all a mix of dark and light, good and bad, you know, kind and evil. I mean, you can go that far. So as writers, we have an opportunity to explore that full spectrum, and that how, you know, like, how about you guys? What are some of your favorite characters? Some of mine are the ones that make these incredible transformations from being just dirty, rotten evil to good. But then there's this, like, you know, exploration of what that looks like. You know, that they go from either being really good to really bad, or whatever that evolution is.
Yeah, mine would be definitely. Go ahead, Daphne.
Oh no, good.
Mine would be like overcoming adversity. Like Before Women Had Wings. That book was amazing, and it's just like things like where these characters are put in a position where everything's against them, but somehow they have a light or manage a way through it. Even like A Million Little Pieces, like drug addiction and how he kind of got through that part of his life. I love those kind of stories. Running with Scissors, the really highly dysfunctional family, and then it's like he's makes his way. Child Called It. I mean, those are my kind of stories. I'm so, it gives me hope, like the human spirit, that we can
Yes.
survive these things, and that
Right.
helps me look out today and go, you know what, this is just a moment in time. It's going to be gone, and we're going to be better to each other and take care of each other. So those things inspire me.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
Character, Daphne, like our favorite story kind of arc that shows that transformation.
Yeah, I mean, with me, I love characters that are dark characters, but that they may do bad things, but deep down they're ultimately good. That they, I don't know, ones that kind of wrestle with the good and the bad, so they are seemingly bad on the outside. I like that, but really inside they're good.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that show?
Which show?
Dexter.
Everyone tells me I need to watch that show. They're like, oh, you would love, I've never seen it. They're like, you would love it. I've got to see. Yeah. Cause everyone always tells me you would love that, but that's really interesting, Kelly, the books that you brought up, because I remember the first episode we were talking about what we were writing, and you said that you wanted to write something that basically could make a difference, that someone could connect with and could really make a difference in people's lives. And the fact that those are your favorite books tells me that's probably the type of thing you're going to want to write.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Because those are the stories that I love, right? So that would make a lot of sense, right? Yeah,
that's really interesting. I'd love to explore more what you're going to write.
Yeah.
Well, when I know, I'll let you know.
Like, what is what's their dilemma? What are they? What's the thing they're trying to get over? So
isn't that what your first book was, Kelly? Like the one we talked about, you were
yeah. Yes. I guess for me, like, how do we, I don't know how to word this, because it's not I think it's starting to happen in the world where we kind of recognize that we have the power to change things, but we have to unite in order to make the changes. So it's sort of like, I think we have to come to this place where we don't see differences, but we see likenesses, like, Maya Angelou always said, we're more like my friends than we are different. And I think we all have to kind of get to that place before we can really create externally the world we want to see, because obviously this part has to be right. So I think that stuff excites me, and like, the Kabbalion and things that talk about the principles and laws of the universe and the law of one, and all those things, even A Course in Miracles, right? I like those principles because I think that those are so important and needed right now, but not in like a teaching way, but more like a story way. And I just don't know how to do that yet. And it's going to come. I'm okay with that, not knowing. But that's why I like coming here, because when we do these writing sessions, it forces me to sit down and just write. And I think, like Daphne, you said in our first live stream, it's like, you just got to show up. Like you just got to show up and do it. And that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, to your point, yes, if I could write a story, something like that, where they overcome adversity and there's like a moment of like oneness and like, oh, we're all here together and this is awesome, that'd be amazing. Pollyanna, I know, but I still believe in it. Still my hope in my heart.
But that's what writing allows us to create, that Pollyanna utopic sort of experience. It's like I feel like as writers and as readers, we're cultivating the seeds of thought that someone else gave us, and then as writers, we're planting seeds for other folks to cultivate. So I think it's a really interesting place to be, where you're seeding the universe, the world, our culture with these not higher, but these ideas.
No, it's true. Like Kelly, you seem to have, and I know Vanessa, you do, like you really have all these, like, you're well read, you have all these great ideas and thoughts that you've read about, and taking that and making it into a fictional story, I think is something that could connect more with the masses. It could take that message, that underlying message that you love so much. And yeah, I mean, you put it in a story that has good, all the factors that people love in the story.
Yeah.
And you really
for
would,
sure.
you would really would be able to give that message to more people as far as like spreading that idea.
Yeah, you think about
Yeah.
what James Cameron and George Lucas did. James Cameron with his Avatar sort of series.
Yeah. Yes.
Spielberg with Star Wars.
Exactly that. Mm-hmm.
J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter. I mean, kids
talk
about, are you a Muggle or not? Are you are you a Jedi? And if a Jedi, are you a Luke, or are you a Darth Vader? Like, these things, these concepts of light and dark have transformed our generation over and over. So, I mean, I know you said, Kelly, you want to write something that is approaching the hero's journey from a different perspective. So
I kind of want to break out of that framework, because I think that's kind of where our stories get stuck, because there's a pitting against, right? There's always a pitting against in the hero's journey. There's never really like we all win, right? It's like somebody's trying to overcome something. So I would love to try to transcend that. But you know what? Honestly, maybe that's just what makes stories great, and you can't transcend it. I'm not really sure. Maybe we need that tension, which that might be what I discover, when I do my own journey through this. But I think ultimately I'm writing it to understand myself and my own darkness and my own, like, how am I creating this world? What am I putting out there that's making this, me see these things versus the things I want to see? But but the hero's journey, you're right. I just feel like it's kind of old. I mean, but I know people love it. I mean, now they're using it in marketing. So it's like,
Well, it just creates a story arc. So there's a show that Chris and I just finished watching, and it's called Carnival Row. Have you guys seen it?
I've seen parts of the first season. They just came out the second season, right?
Yeah. Blasted through all of it to the last one. And Daphne, I would say it's definitely worth finishing. But Kelly, it's definitely worth going to the end because of what you're talking about, where we don't see things where everybody wins. And so it's just, I think it's an incredible, they compacted, so they brought a lot and compacted into like 2 seasons or however many sessions there are. But some of it's just disgusting and dark, but it's not, it's good. It's not gross like Game of Thrones. It doesn't go in level of darkness, but it's still, so there's a guillotine in the show.
Okay. So there's some blood and gore.
Oh yeah.
Who would we be without the blood and gore? I mean, my God,
I know, life, right?
Right. And I'm like, can we have something that shows like without all this fighting, but what would that look like? And are people interested in that? And nobody wants to just see, if you want to go see a bunch of clouds and flowers being happy, go outside. We look at movies and read books to like unearth the ick in us, and make peace with it somehow.
It's true.
It's like a connection. Like if someone writes about something that you experience but you're ashamed of, and they're telling it, that's like freedom. You're like, God, I'm not alone. I'm not. This is. I'm not so icky because someone else feels this way. I mean, I think that's the power of those kinds of books where you're really going deep in that psyche and stuff, Yeah. But to get back to the self-censorship part, I think this is interesting because I just realized this when you were talking, and when Daphne mentioned about it too. Like, is it okay if we just give ourselves permission in our writing, when we're writing privately, just to really like let it loose, because I don't know if I even do that. I think I still censor even in my own journal sometimes, like, oh, I don't know if I should write that. No. I feel like there needs to be we need to give ourselves permission to be like, go dark and dirty. No one's ever looking at your journal. No one even cares if I read your journal. And it's not going to be that exciting. It's not going to be as exciting as you think it's going to be. So I think I wonder if that is part of it too, just giving a space for the real you, all parts of you to just kind of just be who they are, and it doesn't have to be published. You don't have to write about it ever, in that genre, that way, but just to have the freedom to explore that. Vanessa, you're probably great at that.
Yeah. I've been journaling since I was 14, and I, anywhere from my bleeding heart type stuff to the FU stuff, but I go back and I have journals from my 20s and 30s, and it's always like, why am I feeling like this? And the world sucks. And this is torment inside of me that's constant, because I feel like I live in 17 different dimensions and feel a lot of pain from a lot of people, and I have this peripheral awareness that is way intense. So I just feel like I'm always like being squished through a sieve of the dark humanity and within myself. Like I'm very emotional. And so, but it's all bottled up. So the only place I ever knew that I could be that way was in my journal. So my journal is like torment. It's like horrible.
Love it. Love it.
Great
Love
that
it.
you can do that, because Kelly, I'm with you that, I mean, I will censor my own journal. I mean, seriously, it's like, wow, like Daphne, you're judging yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, it's bad enough that you worry about judgment of others, but damn, I'm like, what's Daphne gonna think? You know, it's like that's kind of stuff. But sure, do I need therapy? Yeah,
totally.
We all
my
do.
gosh, totally. I'm like, is this normal?
Yeah.
But I love that.
Yes,
but how can you write a character that has depth if you don't know your own depth, right? How can you write a character that transforms and overcomes if you haven't been able to get in there and do that yourself?
Exactly. And that ties into what Kelly has said, where when you're writing, and sometimes you really do, though, you're channeling, right? It's not necessarily you in a way. And this is such a strange thing, but it is. And I found that when I was writing, that when I would get in this kind of like zone, and then later I would say, who wrote this? You know, but that was my best writing. My best writing was that when I got out of my own way, for however you want to take that, and you know, however you want to look at that, but getting out, taking me and my issues out of the way to enable myself to write, that was the best writing. So how do you get out of your own way?
How do you and has it been your experience, Daphne? This is what I'm really curious about, because this has been mine. My best writing comes from either high vibrations of love, like being in love, full of heart open, full, or like despair, fear, you know, terror. Like those, like if I'm in those states, like those are like, wow. And I don't know if it's because I'm closer to who I am on either spectrum, but it's like everything's fine. Nothing comes out of that, right?
Exactly. It's boring.
You know,
it's just like trivial nonsense, superficial blah. But you're right. And I think that all creatives are kind of like that. It's whether people can tap into that easily or not. Some people, they are always in those kind of zones, you know, and so maybe they're creative geniuses. I don't know. Vanessa, it seems to me like you're able to very easily tap into that more than, say, Kelly and I. We have to probably struggle and work harder and to do that, whereas you can probably get into one of those relatively quickly.
Yeah,
I don't know why that is. Like, what makes one person struggle with that and another person so, you know, able
probably
to
the not censoring. Probably the not censoring. It's probably what that does. Yeah.
Meditation.
Allowing yourself to be.
I would say your challenge then for the next week or so is to dive into the things that you find are impermissible. Find the things that you would never have never been given permission to do and feel, and to write nasty, right, dirty, right, mean, you know, fuck off to whoever needs to fuck off and kill someone who needs to die, and do it in the most disgusting way you can do it. Like, but the truth is not everybody has, I mean, we all have dark in us, but not everybody has the same level of dark. So you can't judge your own dark. Like you know, like go there, tap it, see if there's a well there. And then maybe your dark version is like, I don't know, what could be, you know, Kelly and I have had this conversation. Another way to get into darkness is to get into your anger and your rage. That's a good way. Like if somebody, you can consider this, if somebody tried to murder you, what would be the most disgusting and powerful way you would fight back? And what would you tear out of them first? You know, like, what is that? If someone hurt your kid, what anger would come out of you that would allow you to do what?
Yeah, you have to tap into that person, and like Kelly said too, on the other end, the light too, like the love and all that can be just as hard. Like, you know, if you're writing a true love story or something, that can make you very vulnerable too, is putting yourself out there in that realm.
Writing about sensuality and pleasure.
Yes,
and
exactly.
If you're not in that in your own life, then how do you tap that? Because you have it in you. How do you tap intimacy and pleasure when you're not necessarily experiencing that in life at the moment?
But it's inside, right? So yeah, so it's interesting, and that's a whole nother. And people are just as drawn to that as they are the dark too. To see an intimate scene, read an intimate scene in a book. I mean, it can cause feelings. You can have a physical reaction to that, right? To reading that scene. Or am I the only person that doesn't know?
No.
Maybe the challenge is to write a pleasurable sensory experience that makes you want to have an orgasm. Like how can you bring up that ecstatic state within yourself just from your own writing?
Because the erotic romance books are literally the number one selling. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, they are through the roof. That is where the money is. Okay. So we're not the only. So I mean, it is a huge industry. So people,
I had no idea.
People want to read this. They want,
well, they want to be turned on in life. They want to feel good. They want to feel something that they don't feel in their everyday life. And that these are ways, like, this is where I say, like, as writers, we're magicians. We are conjuring up emotions and, possibilities within our readers. And that's a pretty profound thing to be able to do.
Yeah, exactly. When you have to find that within yourself. So expressing it. Yeah, you have to feel it, express it, channel it, whatever. But I think that's a great thing to work on for next week.
Yeah, me too. Me too, for sure.
Okay.
I might even use our writing time to do that. Like, what would I really write if I did?
Yeah, I know.
Like, we'll put it this way: in the framework of fear, if no one was ever going to see your stuff and you had no fear, how would you write about X, like whatever it was?
That's great.
And what would that feel like to you? Yeah.
Vanessa, I have to say this. I don't know if you're going to do another one, but I felt like that's where I got at that in your 30-day writing challenge, particularly with that image that you made us write about. And I mean, what came out was like, I would never write something like that. But I just let it come. And I feel like that challenge was so vital for me. You have no idea. I mean, that changed a lot for me in many ways, but I mean, particularly that freedom, because we were all bearing it there. There was nobody was not showing up in that group. I mean, that was like, and we could tell by what they were putting out, right? I mean, truly vulnerable stuff. And you were not judged, or there was no criticism. There was just like support, love, whatever. So man, I think those kinds of challenges really they open that door. That's what I was going to say. Like, it did open the door for me to things that I probably would not have experienced had I not done that challenge.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love hearing that, because I think that creating the space for us to be ourselves is the most powerful thing that we can do as, whatever, people who have a voice, who kind of crack the code, even if it's just a little bit. I am doing a Let's Get Visible challenge, which is all about being vulnerable. Yeah, it's still Get Over Yourself. It's the Get Over Yourself challenge, but it's the Let's Get Visible. And so it's writing and social media. So getting comfortable out there. Yeah. Yeah.
When are you gonna launch that? Do you know?
Yeah, so that starts April 10th on Monday, April 10th.
Oh, let me write that down too. I'm definitely. Let's Get Visible. Yeah. I love that. That's
because awesome. I'm gonna join that, because that's one of that. Yeah, 100%. Because that's in it. Okay. Both of your challenges, the video and writing, just did a lot for me, and I miss having those people, because they were so awesome. All the people that you attract into these groups, and just the way you facilitate it leaves space for us to really just be who we are. That is the beauty of it.
So that sounds amazing.
Wonderful. I would love to have you guys in there. We'll just, for you guys, we'll do it at the regular, what I charged for last time. I'm charging $297 this time for new folks coming into it.
Yeah.
But it's $99 just for you guys, because a lot of time and whatever.
Sounds awesome. I'm excited about it. I'm really happy you're doing another one. Yeah.
Yeah. And this time I really want to, so it's tapping into vulnerability. It's really tapping into your creativity, and it's creating a new pattern and a habit of putting yourself out there and being seen,
awesome.
Not hiding behind a pen name, not hiding behind your business, not anything like that. It's just like, here I am.
Wow.
And so I'm so glad you said that. I would still like to run a writing challenge from a writing perspective only, and a video only. But I think right now doing the work, doing it from both angles. So then the challenge is also partly, how can you tell a story in a short amount of time on video and it be engaging and vulnerable? So there'll be challenges for that too within this 30 days.
Oh, that's awesome. Daphne, have you done any of them?
I haven't, but this sounds amazing. Really,
you would love it. You'd be a great benefit to the group because I'm just interacting with you. I know. Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely interested. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. If you guys, actually, here's the thing. Here's what we could do. If you want to come in and help me moderate, that actually would be participate, but moderate. Then we're good. We're even, because I need help moderating. That's like my biggest challenge, because it's 30 days and I have a million other things I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely.
I'm happy to do that, but I'm going to pay you too, because that keeps me accountable. Like I have to actually do the exchange, or I can't. I won't. I don't take it as seriously. Honestly, I'm sorry. That's just something about me that I've learned.
That's fine too. That's awesome. I don't say no to money, but
good.
but I do need help with it. So that would be incredible. And I want to create a really cool program. I don't know how many people will be in it. You guys, if you'd have other people that come join us, I'll send a blurb out so you can put it out there. But it is a really powerful way. And I see so many of my previous participants who are on video now who got over themselves basically. And do video, are on social media. So I'll have some technical skills. We're also going to talk about AI and how to use AI to help you. But so this is going to be a really juicy 30 days.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what are we going to write about, ladies, in our 15 minutes?
Let's get to it.
Here we go. Huh. There's so much now going around in my head.
I want to write about a horny ghost.
Oh, I love it. Do it.
No, I'm outside. Totally just do something out of the ordinary.
Totally weird. I have no idea.
Very good.
Okay. So we're just going to
just drop in.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we just do whatever we feel. I really don't know what I feel drawn to yet, but it'll come. I'm just going to give myself permission to write whatever.
Me too. Yep, and we'll see what happens. So,
okay.
15 minutes or
15 minutes we'll write, and then
Okay.
So I'm going to put myself on mute just because.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to throw a log in the fire. So if you see me go away real quick, you know what I'm doing.
And if anybody joins us ever in the future and you're just staring at us and we're just writing, that's cool.
Yeah. Live stream writing. Here we go.
Yeah, that's right.
Music. I wonder if I can put on music.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Ooh, that would be
like some subliminal, sexual,
yes.
erotic.
I know what you're writing, Kelly.
I think the next live stream I'll learn how to do that. I don't know how to do it yet.
Do you know what, Daphne? I'm going to make a confession right now. I can't even talk dirty in bed, so there's no fucking way I'm writing about sex. I can tell you that right now. That's a true confession.
So you're not the next big erotic author? Oh.
I am not the 50 Shades of Grey type of writer, unfortunately. That is not
Oh my God. I think you could totally do it. I think you need to tap into that.
Let us help you on your journey.
Yeah, right. Well, you did say it's the highest selling, right? Most popular highest selling.
Oh, by far. Oh my gosh. It's like, yeah, that's where the money is.
That's so interesting.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Maybe I'll give myself permission to write erotic. It's going to be really embarrassing already. I can tell, but whatever.
Oh, what an edge to push.
Yeah, right? Ooh.
Yeah. Next time you show up on our live stream, you're just going to be in this like slinky dress, and you're just going to be like, "Oh my god!"
We'll see her transformation. She'll be like the top seller of paranormal erotic romance. I'll be like, oh.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'll be like erotic YouTube channel. Come to me, I'll guide you. Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
You got the voice. You tapped it.
Love it. Okay, so we're doing it. I'm gonna put a log on the fire, and then I'm gonna write.
Okay.
See you on the other
I'll
side.
I'll mute myself too. Okay.
Yeah. All righty. We're at our 15 minutes.
Oh,
How was that?
good. It was good. I was just kind of getting into the groove. How did you guys do?
It was good. It's a little wow. Yeah.
Oh wow, you got some things accomplished then, I take it.
I did.
It always
Really a
makes
shame
me
my
like
husband left for work this morning.
Well, I wrote about a guy who died while giving someone a blowjob, and now he's a ghost.
Interesting. Wow. What killed him
God.
exactly?
Yeah.
You think he'd be? Oh,
He choked on the part while he was doing it.
interesting. Is that like a hazard I wasn't aware of?
Right.
I have no idea. But that was what was fun is I had no concept. I have nothing.
Wow,
in my
that's
head.
awesome.
Wrote,
Do you want to read any of it?
It's super shitty, but I'll read it.
Hey.
I'll just read the point he died.
First drafts are always like that, unless you're
Okay. In real life, Eros was a mess in every area of his life that you could imagine. Years of self-abuse, neglect, poor hygiene. He was always broke, living on the street. But he was charming. He'd get drugs from anyone, everywhere, with a smile and sometimes a promise of something in the something in the future, or a bit of pleasure in the present. One day, Eros was giving Jack the hobo a blowjob in the alley.
hobo.
Terrible, like non-woke word. Sorry. Anyways, midway through, Eros realized he couldn't breathe, and he was choking on the obtrusion in his throat. Okay. Anyways,
I love it.
Yep.
Eros crumpled to the floor, breathless, sexless, and lifeless.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
No, I think that's really good. You just pulled that out of your ass in a 15-minute stint. That's pretty good, Vanessa.
Very
I
good.
wrote
Yeah, I mean,
two pages.
you went for it, and that's
Yeah.
You just went.
Well, and then it ends with kind of like him coming from the shock of the transition of death to his first thought, wondering if ghosts are horny, like just being like what we were talking about, like being funny. And then yeah, he wondered. Yeah, anyways. And so then it goes on to like, now this is his exploration. Like, he doesn't have a body. He doesn't have a heaviness. He doesn't need money. He's broke. He's like, you don't need anything as a ghost. So maybe now you could really like go out and experience pleasure without any stress. But what would that look like?
Right. That's where the story's going to get really good, actually.
Yeah. It's like now he's on an exploration. Yeah. So anyways.
Yeah, the point isn't how he died, it's that he died.
I just thought that was funny. And then it was men. I had no story in my head. I just went with my instinct. So it was just like unlocking that tap of creativity and your thoughts and following it more like a stream of consciousness and creativity.
Right.
Without any censorship, even though it's like weird to say out loud, but whatever.
No, that's what I love about it. There was no censorship. I mean, that is so cool.
Yeah, very great. I know.
Yes.
How about you, Kelly? What did you write?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm super uncomfortable.
You don't have to. You don't have. This is a safe place.
I need to do it.
It's a safe place. It's just on YouTube.
I don't care. I don't care. Nobody knows me anyway. It makes no difference.
What?
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So don't look me up after I read this if anybody's watching this later. I'm totally kidding. Okay. He put his hand on the small of her back, and instantly the snake of lust began to rise from the base of her pelvis to the tips of her nipples, now hard and engaged. A surrender to the immense pleasure of her energy melding with hers. Of his energy melding with hers. For a sliver of a moment, they were enmeshed, entangled as the sheer sensual pleasure of union. Being so in tune as if he'd known her body, her mind, her essence all of his life, he released his hand and placed it on her thigh and began caressing her leg, only to pause and rest at the fold of her hip. The heat and warmth of his fingertips drizzled like warm beads of honey, landing ever so gently on her now pulsating ... Because we stopped.
Wow, that's great. And good writing too. Wow.
Really good.
Oh, thank you. That was really uncomfortable, but I'm glad I did it.
No, that is great. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh my
You
God.
reached over that comfort zone. That's amazing. You got over a fear.
I know you, and you did it in like 10 minutes. I mean, that's like, I mean, wow. That's
yeah,
great.
I mean, it feels good. I mean, it's uncomfortable. My chest is kind of heavy, right? But it's like, it's also freeing because I'm like, okay, so I can do this. I can do this.
See, you can do
Yeah.
it. I mean, if you like really, you had the time and you were in the right place and you could really get into the, the thing of writing. And I mean, yeah, you really could. I mean, you did that in 15 minutes on a live stream. So that's pretty good.
I know.
Exactly.
See, that's what's so great about this, though, because you can't. It just proves that we all can do this, right? Daphne, are you open to reading yours?
Mine is just I just wrote. It's very boring. I just wrote an opening.
It doesn't matter.
It's this lady driving down the road. That's all it is. It's nothing
Read
exciting. After the two of you, mine's a snoozer. Yeesh.
No, let's hear it.
I mean, wow. Maybe I can make something up real quick. No.
It's not. You have that impression of it, but I guarantee we won't.
Yeah, it's just a scene for like a this little section I was thinking of writing where this lady's coming up on a house. That's it. So I was like, let me go ahead and write this scene and just see how it but I can read it. Leaving a wake of dust behind her, Jenna drives slowly over the bumpy dirt road. She hates these backwoods places with their creepy towns and even creepier histories. The moment the house comes into view, she knows she's at the right place. Parked out front are various government vehicles, a sheriff, the local coroner van, and the usual jacked up pickup of a local called in. I can't really read the rest. For something, her heart skips a beat the moment she sees him, tall with dark hair and his usual nonchalant demeanor. And that's all I got.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love you wrote the creepy part at the very beginning.
Yes, and the creepier histories. I love that. That's excellent.
So that's just her driving up on a house that she's going to be. She's like I don't know yet what I want. I don't know if I want to make her like a medium or something. I'm kind of getting into the paranormal thing, but I want to give her, there's some reason why she's going to be there. So that was my scene. So
yeah, I love the setup because I could see it the whole way. I mean, I could see everything. I love those kind of setups because you're there with the person. Like I could have been in the car with her.
Yeah.
You dropped in. You helped us drop in super fast.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. It wasn't as exciting as your what you wrote though, both of you. That's so. No, I wasn't brave. I didn't face my fear and write anything that was so. But that's
no, I don't think that's true at all. Because I think that what's interesting is like, Vanessa's had names, so we knew like, but we didn't know what he looked like necessarily, right? And like for me, I wrote about a sensation or feeling between two people, but you couldn't really place the people. Like you didn't have a visual, you didn't know where they were. So like yours. So I'm trying to say is like where you add to that context in the beginning of a scene, like that's so important. It's not boring. It's necessary for people to be in that situation. Like if I had painted a scene before where you met these two people and you had a name and you knew what they looked like, and you knew what was happening, that would have made it way more inviting and you could see yourself there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you went ahead though and wrote the hard stuff. Like the other stuff would have come and that would probably be easy for you to write, but you went ahead and wrote the hard scene, which was the
See,
purpose, right?
no.
The purpose.
But it's so funny, Daphne, because I think that this is so interesting because you do it and you have done it and you have that your flow with that because it's easy, it comes easier to you because you've had the practice and the knowledge. It's hard for me to write a scene. Very hard to set the scene for me. That is not a natural thing for me. I could do this probably a lot easier than I could the other part. So that's the part I need help with. Because see, I could drop you into something, but you don't know where the hell you are or who you're with, or you know what I mean. And then there's no meaning to it because you can't be there with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you just know there's something good going on. But yeah.
yeah. Right. No, Vanessa, I could see where Vanessa was, like where her character was. I had a kind of a visual because she gave, she alluded to it throughout it. So that's even more, powerful too. If you can just, you have to be in a place, you have to be somewhere.
Well, we all did. So we all did great with our writing. I mean, it was, it's interesting. It's so interesting how each time, different things come out.
Yep. And hopefully it'll spur us in our writing through the week, like writing beyond your comfort zone, getting over your fear. You don't have to write about this type of stuff, but just whatever it is that will get you over that fear and that block so that it can just tap. I mean, maybe you have to go dark or really super hyper light in order to find the flow, but it's just using these extremes to tap that and trust it as you go along.
Yeah, I know for me this week, I'm going to come away with this and write probably what would be the harder for me would be an erotic scene. I can write violence relatively easy. I can tap into my dark easier than I can my light. Oh, so I think I'll make that a thing. So let's talk. And then I don't know for you guys what you're going to do this week, but let's maybe the next time we get together, really check in and see how it went.
Yeah. Great idea.
That would be a great thing.
Yeah.
For me, as a writer to really, notice you both did it. Yeah, I'll write an opening scene because I can do that. That's easier. So for me to have to do that would be really good to challenge me to just, write a.
Well,
just dive in.
Yeah, just dive in.
And So Daphne, just so I'm clear, this next week, you're going to really dive into that light side, that side that's not as easy for you. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to, I'll dive more into that fear of like getting cancer. Cause I do kind of want to explore it. That's going to be my, because I'm going to make it like an animate object. So it'll be kind of a fun thing for me to explore.
Perfect.
And I might even do another sex scene, just to like an erotic scene, just to kind of keep playing with that, just to push that a little bit. So that'll be what I commit to for next week, and I'll report back on what happened. Yeah.
Okay. I might explore this a little bit, but I kind of feel like I like going there. I'm just going to let it stay open for other stories, but I have 3 projects I'm working on, so I'm just trying to tap create the habit of just writing, where unfortunately I have an instinct to write 24/7, and I do, but it's not focused.
Right.
So I write literally all day long on my phone. I'm always coming up with ideas and always stuff coming through, but I haven't been posting it. I haven't been doing anything. So I just want to get over that right now.
You want like kind of a beginning, middle, end, like a thorough,
it's more for me right now. It's more just giving my writing structure because I can write all day about anything, but I have 3 major projects that I need to complete. So I'm like,
very good. No, that's great. Structure.
Focus.
Is there one that's more pressing that you like, that you want to kind of?
Our cards and the Artemis effect. They need to be just done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, great. Well,
I'll shoot you some. Yeah, and I'll shoot you some messages like, "Hey, how are the cards?"
Yeah.
Hey.
And also, Kelly, we'll just say it here while we're here. Just I did find a designer, so
awesome.
She's gonna take all my AI inspired art like this background. So we have to catch up, but yes, like we have this beautiful deck of cards that we've been working on for a really long time.
Yes. But it wasn't the right time before. So I'm totally good with this. This is so great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. So this is, yes. So that's all I want to do. And I only have a few to finish, but what I'm doing now is reworking the beginning of the prompt, then the prompt, and like thinking through, we need to kind of look through and how to simplify the questions on the bottom. So it's not so complex.
Well,
There's just some of that.
So it sounds like we all have some things to do this week.
Yes.
We will tell the world how we did.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
All right. See you guys next week.
Okay, ladies. Have a good week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you